Adjectives. They're often used with ser. Here's some examples. Ustedes son amables. You are kind. Basically, literally, it's you are kinds. Okay, amables modifies you all, right? You all are, what are you? You're kind. El libro es barato. Barato modifies libro. Okay, it's just joined by this s in the middle, or son for things that are plural. Okay. The book is cheap. The book is cheap. Okay. Let's look at number and gender. Okay, so adjectives change for number and gender typically. Not every adjective is going to change for number and gender. We'll see that in a second. But most adjectives are going to have 4 different forms. Okay, so this adjective that describes the noun amigo is going to be amigo bajo, short friend, amiga baja, short friend that's a girl, amigos bajos, short friends or group of friends, okay, amigas bajas, short group of friends that are all girls. So all these girls that are my friend, they're short. So typically an adjective in Spanish is placed behind the noun that it modifies, bajo, amigo bajo, and which is opposite of English. In English we put short friend. In Spanish we put friend short. And typically they're going to have 4 different endings for both masculine, singular, feminine, singular, masculine, plural, feminine, plural. Some adjectives, though, end in an E or in a consonant. So those are going to agree in number only, not in gender. So they're not going to change for masculine and feminine, but they will add an S for plurality or an ES, depending on whether it be the E or the consonant, when we're talking about one or more than one. Let's see some examples. So here we're working with 2 adjectives, amable and fiel. Okay, amable obviously ends in the E and fiel ends with a consonant. So these are just going to change for plurality or number. Amable, amigo amable, is the same for amiga amable. But when we are talking about more than one, we say amigos amables. Right? Amigas amables as well. Amigas amables. Let's look at fiel, amigo fiel, amiga fiel. Doesn't change for masculine or feminine. Now we have amigos fieles. We add the ES, and it does change for singular or plural. Amigas. And we have amigas fieles, girls that are faithful. But still fieles for either hombres or mujeres. Many objectives of nationality have 4 forms, and they vary for both number and gender. So here's some examples. We have a boy Mexican, Mexicano, girl Mexican, Mexicana, a group of Mexicans, at least one boy included in that group, Mexicanos, and a group of all girl Mexicans, Mexicanas. But not all of them are o, a, os, as. Sometimes the masculine form, for example, will end in a consonant, like español. El español would be the Spaniard. Española would be the female Spaniard. Españoles, the group of Spaniards, at least one boy included in that group. Españolas is a group of all female Spaniards. Alemán is a German. Alemana, female German. Alemanes, group of Germans, at least one boy. Alemanas, group of all female Germans, right? Same can be seen for inglés, inglesa, ingleses, inglesas, inglesas. Although most adjectives are placed after the noun, there are a few exceptions to that. Let's see some. With numbers, for example, we place the number, which is an adjective, before the noun it modifies. Let's see an example. Hay dos coches. So here, dos is our adjective. It's modifying cars. So hay dos coches en el estacionamiento. There are 2 cars in the parking lot. Otro is an adjective that's also used before the noun it modifies. Let's take a look. Necesito otro coche. I need another car. Okay, so otro is adjective, modifies coche. Okay, we could also say necesito otros coches. I need other cars. There you go. So adjectives of quantity are also put before the nouns they modify. For example, mucho and poco. Leandro maneja muchos coches. Okay, so he drives many cars. We could also say Alejandra compra muchas casas. Right? So as we said before, though, adjectives will typically follow the nouns they modify, whether they end in an O or an os or an a or as, or end in a consonant or end in a vowel. Here's a good example. Un perro bueno. Un dependiente trabajador. So a hard-working clerk. Un joven delgada. Una joven delgada y morena. So a young gal that's thin and brunette. Un joven español, a young Spaniard. Those are just some of the examples of adjectives that will follow the nouns that they modify. Some end in consonants, some end in vowels, and adjectives come in all shapes and sizes. Good to memorize a few of the good ones. Some of the most famous adjectives are bueno and malo, good and bad. These are special adjectives in a couple of ways, and you'll see why, but they can be placed before or after the noun that they modify. La muchacha buena, the good young lady. La buena muchacha, the good young lady. There's no meaning change between la muchacha buena and la buena muchacha. It means the same thing. It's a tricky one. However, when bueno or malo are placed before a masculine singular noun, they shorten to buen and mal. Here's how it looks. Carlos es un buen estudiante. Carlos is a good student. We could say Carlos es un mal estudiante, or Carlos es un estudiante malo. But if we put mal or malo or bueno before a masculine singular noun, we need to shorten it to mal and buen respectively. So here's another example. Leonardo es un mal estudiante. Right? Leonardo is a bad student. All we do is drop the old O. Not true of feminine singular nouns, just masculine singular noun. But remember, we can place bueno and malo after a masculine singular noun, and it will act like just a normal adjective. Here's an example. Jorge es un estudiante bueno. We keep the O when it's a masculine singular noun, and we place bueno after the noun it modifies. Here's some more examples of this phenomenon. Un buen perro, un perro bueno. It's before drops the O, placed after keeps the O. Una buena perra, it's feminine, so we keep the A. Una perra buena. Placed before or after makes no difference. It's feminine. Un mal carro, un carro malo. Okay, drop the O here, placed before carro. Keep the O here, it's placed after. Una mala noche, una noche mala. Since it's feminine, doesn't matter whether we put it before or after, still keeps that A, both cases. Now we're going to talk about grande. Grande is an interesting adjective, and it changes from grande to gran when it precedes a masculine or feminine singular noun. So whether it be a masculine or feminine, as long as it's singular and grande goes before it, it's going to change to gran. Also, when grande is placed before a masculine or feminine noun, it means great. Okay, so whether this be plural or singular. So let's see an example. Es una gran ciudad. Okay, feminine, but it's placed before and it's singular. So we go from grande to gran. Here's a masculine example. Es un gran chico. Masculine, but it's placed before, so we take off the de and just add gran. This means great. So es una gran ciudad means it's a great city. Es un gran chico means he's a great boy. Let's look at a plural example. Son unas grandes ciudades. They are some great cities. So we don't have to worry about taking off that de when it's plural and we're placing grande before the noun it modifies. We just turn it into grandes. Son unas grandes ciudades. That means they are some great cities. When grande is placed after a masculine or feminine noun, whether it be singular or plural, it means large. So let's see an example. Es una ciudad grande. It's a big city. Es un chico grande. He is a big boy. Plural. Son unas ciudades grandes. They are some big cities. Son unos chicos grandes. They are some big chicos, or big kids. Okay, so grande or grandes, if it's placed after the noun it modifies, whether it's masculine or feminine, singular or plural, means large. Demonstrative adjectives are important. We're going to look at one form of demonstrative adjectives. The this form looks like this. Este, esta, estos, or estas mean this. Este chico, esta chica, this boy, this girl. Estos chicos, these boys. Estas chicas, these girls. Okay? These are always used, these demonstrative adjectives are always used directly before the noun that they modify. Este chico, this boy. Esta chica, this girl. Spanish even has a neuter, which is neither masculine or feminine. It's used very rarely, but esto is the neuter. See an example. And they work for things that we don't know if they're really masculine or feminine, or if we don't know what they are at all. Here's an example. ¿Qué es esto? That is the most common use of esto. ¿Qué es esto? Means I don't know if it's male or female. I don't know what it is. ¿Qué es esto? What is this? Okay, it's yet unidentified. What is this?